The Unlikely Milkman, Prog's influence on Jilted John, the profound impact of progressive rock on a comedic career, revealing surprising musical roots and a temporary shift in professional trajectory. The story of Graham Fellows, the creator behind the celebrated comedy musician personas of Jilted John and John Shuttleworth, presents a fascinating intersection of musical genres and creative ambition.
Initially immersed within the demanding world of progressive rock, Fellows' early career involved significant contributions to iconic bands such as Emerson, Lake and Palmer ELP, Yes, Focus, The Enid, and even a brief association with Pink Floyd, a relationship he notably acknowledges as largely devoid of engagement with Pink Floyd's most commercially successful album, The Dark Side of the Moon. This formative exposure to complex arrangements, intricate instrumentation, and deeply philosophical lyrical content established a foundational understanding of musical architecture that would later inform his comedic approach, characterized by meticulously crafted songs and a distinct theatrical sensibility.
However, the demands of pursuing a creative career in the burgeoning music industry, coupled with unforeseen circumstances, led Fellows to a period of employment as a milkman, a stark contrast to the artistic endeavors he had initially pursued. This experience, while seemingly disparate, undoubtedly shaped his perspective and provided valuable insights into the realities of sustaining a livelihood through creative pursuits, ultimately informing the character development and lyrical themes within his comedic projects.
The core, Anderson's authenticity and Prog's structural DNA, understanding the critical role of John Anderson's genuine expression within the context of progressive rock's complex musical frameworks. John Anderson's fervent commitment to the lyrical content of his work with Yes, particularly during the band's peak period, represents a crucial element in appreciating the broader influence of progressive rock on Graham Fellows' artistic development.
Fellows himself consistently emphasizes Anderson's sincerity, arguing that the musician's deeply held beliefs and personal experiences were inextricably linked to the music's impact, a stark contrast to what Fellows perceived as a more superficial approach within the broader commercial music landscape. This emphasis on authenticity, a cornerstone of progressive rock's ethos, directly informed Fellows' own approach to songwriting, encouraging him to prioritize lyrical depth and emotional resonance within the framework of meticulously constructed musical arrangements.
The complex arrangements and extended song forms characteristic of bands like Yes, Focused and ELP, involving intricate instrumental interplay and shifting time signatures, provided Fellows with a sophisticated understanding of musical structure, which he subsequently utilized to create his own brand of sophisticated, often satirical musical comedy. The influence extends beyond mere inspiration. It's a recognition of the structural integrity and conceptual ambition inherent in progressive rock's approach to music making.
Deconstructing the Influence, a hybrid of structure and satire, examining the specific mechanics of how progressive rock's complexities translated into Jilted John's unique comedic style. The comedic genius of Jilted John and John Shuttleworth relies heavily on a careful deconstruction and reimagining of the structural and thematic elements found within progressive rock, resulting in a remarkably sophisticated and often subtly subversive musical comedy.
Fellows' use of complex arrangements, extended instrumental sections, and multi-layered vocal harmonies, hallmarks of bands like Yes and ELP, are not merely stylistic choices, but deliberate attempts to emulate the intricate musical architecture of his influences. Furthermore, the lyrical content, frequently characterized by meticulous observation of everyday life and a dry, ironic perspective, mirrors the philosophical and often introspective themes prevalent in progressive rock songwriting.
The deliberate incorporation of musical motifs and harmonic progressions borrowed from classic progressive pieces, often presented in a deliberately understated or ironic manner, creates a sense of playful homage while simultaneously subverting the expectations associated with the source material. This hybrid approach, blending structural complexity with satirical commentary, is the defining characteristic of Fellows' comedic output and a direct reflection of his early immersion within the world of progressive rock.
Projection and risk, the enduring legacy of Prog's influence, assessing the sustainable trajectory of Fellows' style and potential future strategic considerations. Despite the passage of time and the evolving tastes of the musical landscape, the core tenets of Fellows' comedic style, rooted in the structural complexity and conceptual ambition of progressive rock, remain remarkably relevant and enduring.
The continued appreciation for intricate musical arrangements and intellectually stimulating lyrics, fueled by a dedicated fanbase and a growing recognition of Fellows' artistic merit, suggests a sustainable trajectory for his work. However, the inherent risk lies in the potential for creative stagnation, as the influence of his primary musical inspirations could, over time, diminish the novelty of his approach.
To mitigate this risk, Fellows must continue to explore new avenues for creative expression, perhaps by incorporating elements from other musical genres or challenging his own stylistic conventions, while simultaneously retaining the core values of meticulous craftsmanship and intellectual engagement that define his unique comedic vision. Ultimately preserving the essence of his initial inspiration while embracing continued evolution will be critical to ensuring the long-term success and impact of Jilted John and John Shuttleworth.